money on Greenhouse to be, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's no pressure like that.
It was just like, let's make some dope shit. Let's rap. Let's rap.
Exactly.
Yeah, let's just fucking rap.
Yeah, it's the easiest shit, man. Yeah, I appreciate you putting me up on that record again.
Putting you up on our record?
Yeah, because I straight up forgot. But no, that shit is fire, man. So
Flames.
yeah, we've been talking about the Greenhouse Electric Purgatory Part 2 EP, a record that I have not listened to since maybe 2011. Came out 2010. And that record is fucking crazy.
Flames.
Crazy.
Yeah, y'all might remember me talking about it a couple weeks ago.
Bruh. Just the production on it is crazy, and the rhyming is just some of our best rapping.
Yeah.
Brothers is rapping
Our asses off. Yeah, like rapping. For real.
And the shit is beautiful, man. It's fucking beautiful, man. So, if you out there, check out Electric Purgatory Part 2 on, wherever you listen to music, Spotify, it's on our Bandcamp. We got some physical. Maybe we'll do a sale because we got a deluxe version where it's like
with both EPs.
Yeah, Electric Purgatory Part 1, Part 2. So maybe if y'all see a commercial or if y'all hear a commercial during this episode, then that means I got everything together on time. And we'll sell that CD for like $5.
Cool.
Or something like that. And maybe we'll do that and Bend But Don't Break for 10.
Nice.
That'll be the deal for everybody listening to this joint. But yeah, man, that shit, I listen to that shit. I'm like, man, we need to make more of this shit.
Hell yeah.
Because there ain't nothing sound like that out there.
No. Still to this day, if we drop this shit today,
it'd be like, what's this?
All three of them.
Next level shit.
Next level shit. Ain't been touched.
Oh, man. So we here.
Yeah, we here.
Super duty. Tough work. And, aside from the music thing, man, it was just a beautiful spring day.
It is.
In the hood, I was sitting on the porch waiting on you to roll up like,
Yeah. Relax, kick your feet up a little. You know what I'm saying? Read a book. Like this, kick your feet up, read a book on the porch weather.
Yeah, it is. It is. I've been seeing my neighbors hanging on their porches a lot more. It's just not too hot.
Right.
Not too cool.
Right. A little breeze.
Yeah. I bought some shit to get my landscaping right yesterday. Some weed killer, which is not like me.
Right.
But I had to do it. It's been so nice. So, okay, today we're going to talk about something that has been requested of us again. And, since we've moved into the illustrious...
the space.
Yeah, the new space. We've got a couple people have asked us when we posted about show topics, have asked us to kind of explain everything that went into this remodel. And so that people can kind of see, because people on Instagram saw the before and after pictures I posted.
Process,
But all of our listeners are not on Instagram. Some on Twitter, some on Facebook. Some just listen directly on their podcasting app,
right?
And have no idea that there's visuals. You know what I'm saying, to this shit and what it looks like.
Exactly.
And so on this episode, what people were asking for is kind of us to take it from like a remodeling 101 kind of perspective, to where we can explain what went into this and the method and the process, so those of you who are thinking of doing a remodeling job or something like this can kind of see what went into it, the costs associated and the whole process, ups and downs of it. And this interview I'm gonna put this in here. So this episode, although it's audio, right, we are going to add some significant video content to this,
right?
So it's kind of like the cheat code episodes where we add the video content. We're gonna do that with this episode as well, so that as I'm talking about stuff, those of you watching the video version will be able to see the visual references,
right,
to what I'm talking about,
right, and
kind of make more sense of it. But it should be good to go just listening to it. But hopefully those of you who want the additional experience,
the additional content,
we'll hit up our YouTube channel and subscribe. YouTube.com/Super Duty Tough Work.
One word.
We got our own URL.
Yes,
because we're those guys. And we'll take a break and we'll be right back.
Word.
We got you stuck off the realness, the most infamous, you heard of us. Official podcast murderers, the show comes equipped with viewpoints to share. Grown man ideas for all those who care and wanna grow, so go ahead and download. Every single week with a brand new episode. You're not alone in this world, cousin, so we share information and honest discussion and keep repping a culture like we supposed to. They spread gossip, but they never come close to. I can hear it inside their tone. They talk about the industry but never left their home. You get laced up with bullet points and such, plus empowering topics that they never would touch. You can put your whole network against the team, but Super Duty Tough Work's the MVP. Most valuable podcast on MP3. Priceless info, but all of it's free. So take these words home and think them through. Super Duty Tough Work is coming at you. You are now listening to Super Duty Tough Work with your host, Blueprint. Raw and uncut. Adult conversations. No shucking, no jiving, and no bullshit.
Mr. Glass.
Mr. Shepard, we are here.
Yeah, you get to interview me today.
Yeah, man. I ask you some of the questions that our people really want to know. You know what I'm saying? Some of the deeps, getting into the weeds.
Yeah. We got to do that. You know, no one else gives that to the people.
Nah, they don't.
You know,
not the way we do. So, we're gonna talk about the remodel.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I'm gonna ask you some things about what went into it.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
and So first off, just in general, like what really made you make this investment into the podcast?
Well, here's what's funny. Prior to us doing the video show, I was working on this. I'll say after we finished the Kingdom Crown movie, that whole thing.
Yeah.
I still wanted to do some video shit. I just didn't want to do a movie.
Okay.
Right. Because it's just that whole time, and it took me 2 years to do it, and I didn't make that much money. I was like, I don't want to make a movie right now, but I still have the bug to fuck with the camera.
Right.
So prior to us doing this, last fall, I was working on like a production show.
Okay.
Me and Mari. I don't even think I told you about this.
Yeah, you did. I saw some of the early episodes.
Okay, I couldn't remember if I told you about it. Yeah. So we were working on like just a production show for beat makers, and just where I kind of go through the basics of production. And
which you still should do, by the way. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir.
Just say it.
Yeah.
I will watch it.
Yeah, I haven't abandoned it. It'll probably show its face whenever my next record comes out.
Cool.
But so I wanted to do something, and then but the issue always was, okay, how do I make something that, like, because I feel like this is the future. Like video content is the future. We know that, whether we're doing it or not.
Right.
The way that people consume things online is moving towards video. And so I was like, I want to have some kind of video thing, whether it's a show with seasons. And then as we started to grow the podcast, I started to look at the numbers last year.
Right.
And I was like, we haven't really done anything to promote. And we get a good amount of listeners every month. What would happen if, and we were taking polls, and you saw the polls too.
Yeah.
We'd be like, y'all should do video. Y'all should do the video. Y'all should do the video. And we were just like, it's a lot of fucking work, and it would cost money. And so I was like, I don't know about this. But I kind of was like, you know what? Next year, I knew that in this year, 2019, all I would be doing is like working on a book, working on music. And I was like, if there ever were a year to try to invest in the podcast, this would be the year.
Okay.
Because I figured next year or the end of this year, I could be out touring, promoting all that stuff, another record.
Right.
And I was like, so let me just make sure that I don't take this opportunity for granted. So as people were asking us, I was just like, man, there must be something here. And then I was like, you know what? This might be two birds with one stone. It kind of gives me an opportunity to get that videography bug, you know, satisfy that bug. And then also to create something that people want to see. And, I don't like to do shit half-ass. So it's kind of like,
go all the way in.
right.
Whole foot.
You know me. I don't be dipping my toe in the water.
Right. Both legs.
Yeah,
whole body.
Straight up, I'm diving in that bitch. So it kind of started like that, where when we first started, we just had the GoPros, and we just started a kitchen table, and I was like, okay, let's see what the response is to this. And my biggest concern was whether our personalities came across. I was like, that's my biggest concern. I wasn't worried about the technical stuff. I was like, I just don't want us to look like some boring motherfuckers.
Yeah, look like assholes and not be cool to look at.
Yeah, you need some charisma if you're gonna do this shit.
Right.
And so I was like, as long as that shit comes across, then we got something that we can grow. And I knew that I had others, so I started just brainstorming at the end of the year, plans on how to expand it. And the video part became one of them. I was okay, we'll try that and see how it goes. And then, we started posting little clips, and the feedback was good. I'm like, oh, you know what? I think we can do something there. And so ultimately, as you saw, like we were doing the stuff upstairs, and the videographer and me was starting to get frustrated because there's certain things we couldn't control.
Like the sun.
Yeah. And we never even talked about that on the podcast. But
Right.
what people didn't know, when we were shooting upstairs in my kitchen, we were right by the window. And that's good to get natural light in. But the problem is we start shooting at 5 o'clock every day, right? 6 o'clock. And so the sun would change the entire episode.
Yeah, because it was wintertime.
Right.
So it got dark early.
Yeah. So the way the room would look when we set up the stuff would look completely different than by the end of the episode over that one. So that was kind of frustrating. Also, I was frustrated with like having to break down everything, set up everything, and have to kind of guess where things were supposed to be, settings on cameras, locations of cameras. I was like, this could be so much easier if we just had a spot that we could dedicate to it. And that's when I was like, I got to do it.
Okay. So it wasn't always the plan to build a video space.
At some point, I thought I would need one, but not for this. In my mind, I was like, oh, it would be cool if I had a room for all my camera gear.
Oh, so a room where I could shoot whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was never a priority because, as we talked about, I wasn't fucking with film at that point. I was like, okay, I did the film. Now I'm going to put out this record. And the next year I was on the road again, just dipping. Right. So it wasn't a priority then. And then this thing came up. And that's when it was like, oh, well, you know what? I have always needed a space. I'm not really using this space down here in the basement. So why don't we look at like turning this into something that we can grow the podcast with?
Dope.
And look, professional as fuck. You know what I mean?
Glad to be a part of it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? What part of the remodel, if any, did you do yourself?
The most, I mean, I did as far as just like where it would go. Well, here's the thing. Before you do any remodel, you have to know what you want, right? Like you don't want contractors coming in and freestyling some shit or telling you how to do.
Come in freestyling.
This is what you want. You really want here. You really want that. And we're going to put one of these in here. And so long before they came in, I started building with some cats in like November, December, who came through like November. And I had pretty much like the blue tape you see around here now. I had the blue tape on the floors.
Okay.
And that was marking where the walls are now, where the door is now, where the outlets are now. I knew where I wanted my lights. I pretty much going into it, I had it all mapped out. Like,
so
okay.
No pun intended, but you had a blueprint.
Yeah, exactly.
Of the room.
They don't call me blueprint for nothing, my man.
Right.
So I had the blueprint of the room. So at that point, that's when I started getting contractors involved. As far as what I personally did, I mean, obviously I knew what I wanted. And then, so I laid that out. But then the only stuff I did after that was just like the flooring, the painting, the trim, and just like the design of everything else in here functionally.
So you brought up contractors.
Yes.
You go? How many contractors did you go through, and what made you settle on the one that you settled on?
Well, the first contractors I had were some cats that they had done some other stuff for me. I worked with them once on some outdoor stuff, and they were the first guys to give me an estimate in like November. And their estimate was actually the cheapest estimate. And I think it was because it was in November. And if you know how like contractors work, their work slows up around Thanksgiving.
Right.
So you can get some shit on the low if you pop in around November and get it done between like November and February. But right around spring, they start getting booked up, you know. So that cat, one of the cats, I don't know what the hell happened to him. I gave him like a $200 deposit. This man disappeared on me.
Ghost.
Yeah. Next thing I hear from him, I'm calling him, texting him. Hey, what's up, man? What's up? You supposed to start Monday? He's like, yeah, just give me. I'm gonna get some. Because he was gonna start on the framing, and so all these walls had to be framed first. There was no way to put outlets there. This was just brick, so we had to frame this wall, that wall, and all of that wall over there.
Okay.
So he was gonna come through and start on the framing. This dude disappeared for like 3 weeks. I'm chasing him for 3 weeks. He's like, oh man, I'm in the hospital, dog. I ain't heard from him since. Oh man, I'm gonna give you that money back.
That's no, you're not. That money gone.
$200 gone.
That money been gone.
It's in the wind.
It was gone that day.
It's down the toilet, bro.
Come on.
I ain't seen that bread.
Nah, you ain't gonna see it.
Nah. So, and here's the thing. It was crazy. Like before, he had a cat he was working underneath, but I knew him. So I think I got jerked, especially because when he came back, he didn't bring his guy with him. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think nothing at the time, but I was like, oh, wait a minute. He didn't bring the lead guy with him. You know, he just came to pick up the deposit himself. So I assumed that they was talking. But now I would doubt he even talked to this dude.
Probably not.
It's just shit contractors be doing when they on some sketchy shit. This is just shit that happens.
Yeah.
It ain't the first time. You know, so that was the first estimate I got in November. I can't remember whatever happened that November. I was doing something else. I was like, nah, I don't know if I want to do it. So I didn't pull the trigger. I was like, I'm going to wait till December. Oh, I was doing something with my mom's, help my mom with some of her stuff.
Okay.
So with her arts and crafts. So I was like, I can't really do it right now, but I'm going to try to get at y'all in December. I started trying to get at them. Couldn't get at cats. Then January, I called my guy who helped me with my house remodels.
Okay.
Mr. J, older contractor. He's like 70.
Okay, yeah. So you're going to get your shit right.
Right.
He going to do his job. He going to do what he's supposed to do.
It's going to take a little longer.
Right. But it's going to be right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's not going to leave you with no bullshit.
Right.
And so he's like my guy. So I hit him up in like January, February. And that's when we were like, we locked it in. It's okay. This is what I want to do. This is the date. And, you know, I figured out what date he can start. And he was like, okay, I'm going to try to get a couple people to help me with this. So it'll be faster, but it'll cost a little more. Mm-hmm. At that point, I was like, cool, whatever.
You just want it done.
Yeah, I just wanted it done. And I knew, you know, that he would get it done.
Right.
I know, you know what I mean? I know versus the other dudes, they disappear with my money. I don't even know how to find them guys. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, where are y'all? Mm-hmm. I don't know. So it's fucked up, right?
Yeah,
this is the game. You know what I mean? So, you know, that was kind of the process and what started. So I went through 2 estimates, and the first estimate was the cheapest. That was probably like $2,200.
Okay.
But then that was actually for more of it. I was gonna get some of that thing finished over there too.
Yeah, because I remember you talking about like building a sound space for like live musicians and
that's what I was gonna do,
all that stuff, and doing the video room.
And I abandoned that plan in favor of this one. I was like, yo, I'm happy with my studio over there. Mm-hmm. And I got like a space, for those who don't know, in my basement. We'll show this. Like, you walk across the hallway from this thing, and there's another room that has where my studio is, where I actually do music in. So I was thinking about expanding that into a bigger space, and then we were probably going to shoot this over there, right? Mm-hmm. That was my plan. But I was like, I don't need to do that because, I mean, I don't need that. And then this came, I was like, you know what? I could just remodel half of this space for this, and then, you know, that'll be what it is.
Okay. All right. Well, I think this is a good place for us to take a
break. Okay.
All right.
Word. What up, everybody? Blueprint here to let you guys know that all 3 of my books are finally back in stock. That means right here, What a Night. This book is back in stock. It's $10. This is a book about the worst shows of my career. That's 10. Word is Blog Volume 1 is back in stock. That's $10. And also, The Making of the Adventures in Counterculture. This book is about my Adventures in Counterculture album. If you have the album, you love the album, you should have the book too. That's $10. All 3 of these books are back in stock for $10 each, or you can get all 3 of them for just $25 right now on waitlist.net. That's all I got today. Thanks for your support. Peace.
All right. Back in the place.
They know how we do, man.
Know what I'm saying?
Who's the dopest? We are.
Greenhouse, bitches, greenhouse. Nah.
Bitches, greenhouse. I gotta say it with pride. Bitches, greenhouse. I gotta say it with pride, bro.
Oh, goodness. Super duty, tough work. Yeah, we talking about the remodel.
Yeah, 101. This is like a 101.
Yeah, man. Because, I mean, this is something like for my basement, even though I don't own my spot, like I visually can see it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where my studio is, because I basically got half of the basement. The other half is Taya's and where we do washing clothes and stuff. So I've like come up with little things to, you know, kind of box it off a little bit.
Yeah.
Like curtains and things of that nature that but I would love to do something like this. So this is really good for me too.
Hell
you know
yeah.
what I'm saying?
And hopefully people at home are like getting something out of this. You know, I want people to know like it ain't no shit that's reserved for, you don't have to know how to swing hammers and do none of this shit. You do need to have a general understanding of what you want so that you don't get finessed.
So you don't get jerked.
Yeah. And that's very important dealing with, you know, this thing. But
and with the Cadillac of remodel rooms.
Yeah.
When you really only need the Honda Accord.
Right. The basics.
Right. The
basics.
Right. So let's dive back into the questions. How much thought went into the sound in the room, and what did you study things? Like, did you study other, video places, video rooms that, where people did things like this to get an idea of how you wanted things to sound and what you wanted to do?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely put some thought into the sound, and that's still something that's like not perfect, because going into it, my assumption was that this room acoustically would be exactly like the studio.
Right.
And it's not.
Nah, it's not.
I didn't find that out until we started, messing with it, and I started finishing it. Like, oh, wait a minute, this has got a lot more echo and stuff in it than I thought I would have. Because over there, it's like I have like only maybe 10 to 20 sound panels, and they're only on the opposite walls, and the sound is completely dead. But in here, I've got stuff behind us.
Right.
I got stuff behind you, behind me. I've got this wall, and we still aren't 100%. It doesn't dead everything.
Right.
If you would get super loud, but it was definitely a big concern. But it was like the sound was a concern, but also the aesthetics were a concern.
Right. Right.
So something I don't even think I mentioned to you, but when I originally was working on this room, once it was painted and the flooring was done and there was nothing in here, I originally had a setup on that wall.
Okay.
I was going to try to use that wall, but I was setting up the panels to where there was no space in between them. And they were set up like just basic squares. And I had the whole wall set up. And then I looked at it next day. I was like, this looks like shit. And I was like, it sounds cool, but it just looks like shit. And then that's when I took them all down, and I had to repair the walls because the shit be tearing holes in the walls.
Right.
And this was this is what I was doing up until the day we shot that week.
Oh shit. Okay.
Like, so I was really like taking stuff down, repainting the holes, patching the shit, getting it right. And then I was like, yo, I did that wall over there with like the diamond shape. And I saw just like aesthetically how that looks and how it kind of gives your silhouette a ill look when you're sitting next. I was like, I'm gonna do that on this wall. And I think that's what we'll do, because then it will actually give us sound treatment here. Right. Sound behind us that people can't see, sound treatment's there. And then that will, and it'll just look cooler. So that was the priority. I mean, I knew that we don't do music here. Right. We don't really yell a lot.
Right.
So we don't got to be crazy. Not like over there. Like the music room, I think that needs more aggressive sound than here, because we're just talking. This is a conversational tone. But when we laugh really loud, this shit can bounce over out of everything.
Oh, yeah.
So I thought about it. I watched some YouTube stuff, and I watched a bunch of YouTube videos. I've got some books that talk about where to put things at and how to cancel sound and just basically what happens when your shit leaves your mouth.
Right, where the waves go.
Yeah, where the waves go. And if you understand that, you know where your walls should be treated at. So we talked about sound in this room where we record the video show. And these are sheets, but behind these sheets are sound panels. And we put more here because Illogic's voice is coming right against this wall. And if we don't put something there, it's going to bounce all over this room and sound crazy. So we put these here, we put the sheet over it, and it just fits in really well. But it's about the sound panels. These are the same sound panels we got up here, but there's gaps in them here. And these gaps allow the sound to kind of bounce a little bit, but we're so close to it and we're not that loud, so it helps. And if you look on the same side, opposite side, we got the same thing going on over here. We got a wall with sound panels all behind it, but we got this black sheet over it, which kind of helps deaden it as well. So when I'm talking on that end, my voice is going straight into this wall, and it's dying here, which is what we wanted to do. And the same thing, when he's sitting here, he's talking, but his voice is bouncing right over me, going straight to that wall. And so this is the area of the room that has the best sound treatment right here. We focused it all on here, knowing that the direction of our voices, it would make perfect sense. Here, we're going this way. Right. So what's the most important? That we have sound face, you know what I'm saying, where our voices are directed. So you got to have some sound treatments behind me, because your voice is going there, and I got to have some behind you. In my studio, the sound treatments are behind the monitors.
Right. That's where mine are too.
Yeah. And then they're on the opposite wall of the monitors. And that actually works out so much better in there, but it wouldn't work here because that's not where we do our thing at.
And that's not where the sound is projected.
Right. So you have to make it specific to what your needs are. For us, it was like, okay, we're right here, so we need the most right in this little 4-6 foot section right here, 10 foot section. That's where we have to put the majority of emphasis on the sound. And you know, we were upstairs sometimes, and we would have the window cracked and cars driving by.
And even when the window was closed, you know what I'm saying? The car was loud or cats bumping music.
Trains.
All kind of stuff.
And now we're not there. So the sound was an issue. Two, just like another issue was, like I mentioned before, having a space that you can improve upon things.
Right.
And so once we got down here, it's like, oh, well, now I can leave the camera set up, and anything I notice in the episode or in the footage that I want to improve on, I can make the change right then and there.
Right.
And then the next week it's fixed.
Yeah.
We start from there. That was huge, you know?
Yeah. Cause I have noticed like different placement of cameras, you know, when I came in today.
Yes,
you know what
yes.
I'm saying? I was like, oh, all right, must have made some improvements.
Yeah, little changes.
A little change up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I studied the game tapes.
Yes, I see that. All right. So now we talked about the sound. Now we're gonna talk about the lighting.
Okay.
Is there, like, did you explore different lighting possibilities for the room, or did you have a strict idea of how you wanted the room lit, what kind of lights you want, what kind of bulbs, all of that?
Yeah, well, because of my experience doing the film stuff and the video work, I knew that ideally having LEDs was like the way you go.
Right.
Like if you're gonna have a room built from scratch, you can't be putting those regular tungsten lights in there. And for people at home, like the color of the light is what you really are concerned about. Like the tungsten lights, they actually give like a yellowish hue to them. That gives your footage a yellowish hue.
Right.
Whereas like the LED lights, you know,
they're white.
They're white lights. So it's like real white, not like when you buy a light bulb and it says a soft white. That's not white. It's really like, you know, yellowish, you know what I'm saying? But these are what you really wanted. And I wanted it to be a space where we had so much lighting that like the cameras will be able to shoot at like their optimal setting with nothing else.
Yeah.
And we haven't had to bring a light into here at all.
No.
And so like we have like the lights up top. We got the one in the middle, and that kind of lights our faces. And then we got the one over there on the other side of the room. And like that shit is enough.
Yeah.
You know, we don't need nothing else.
Yeah. I mean, you can tell the difference in the clarity of the shots, you know, from upstairs to being in here, just watching it. I mean, even if you know nothing about, you know what I'm saying? Like you can definitely see like they did something different.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like as far as how it's lit and as far as how it looks, not even just the dope new room, but you know, how everything is lit, the clarity of the shots.
Yes.
All of that. Like you can definitely see the difference.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. Like to me, I knew ultimately, because, you know, we started out with the GoPros and that was it. Right. And those are cameras that are best suited in outdoor settings.
So optimal light, as much light as possible.
As much light as possible. And then I knew like, okay, if we ever get a set space, you know, I had an extra DSLR camera that I didn't really use. I was like, okay, well, when we get a real space, then we can start exploring adding more good cameras. I just didn't want to be shooting with really good cameras in a space with shitty lighting.
Right.
You know,
it would, is why?
Yeah.
It'll cancel each other out.
Yeah. It'll look just like the GoPro. What's the difference? So now that we've come in here, knowing that we've got the crazy lighting, it's like I can do so much more now. And we're not doing anything complicated. No. It's just anybody who understands photography and video understands the importance of lighting. Right. And so the importance of lighting is just like, that's number one. And that's helped us get better images, like you're saying, a more consistent look to our show, which makes us just look doper and sound doper. You know what I'm saying?
Man, that's how you gotta do it.
Dopest. It's the only way to do it. Like we say, we just fly dudes.
Only way to do it.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, so now we come into the big question.
Yes. Let's go.
Well, first I'm a preempt the big question with how long did everything take?
Longer than I thought.
What is longer than you thought?
Well, I thought it was going to take about a week and a half. I thought it would take like 7 to 10 days.
Young grasshopper.
Yeah. Little did I know. Shit took about a month.
Okay.
That took about a month.
Because we had to push back. Luckily, we had joints in the chamber.
Yeah, they didn't know that.
Yeah, we had to push back, to re-recording.
Yeah, so the people at home, there was a period about a month ago where 2 months ago, really, we started out in anticipation of this.
Right.
We just started recording mad episodes in advance. So we had 6-7 episodes in the tank. So we were just dropping those. Yeah. And then, so basically, we tried to time it so that as soon as we ran out of those episodes, we started shooting in here, and it worked out perfectly.
Yeah, sure did.
But yeah, so like, hold on, what was the question?
How long?
Oh, how long? Yeah, it took about a month. About a month. I mean, it took that long too because there was my guy, Mr. J, started with him, and he had 2 guys with him. Yeah, him. He had this guy and his son. Day 1 went great. Oh, it looks good so far for 2 days. Huh? I said it looks good for 2 days.
Yeah.
You got help, and I'm trying. Well, they doing the work, and if he knew how to do it, I don't have to worry about it. He don't.
Day 2,
Cats disappeared. Ghost.
let me tell you. So the son's friends, his son has a friend who overdoses.
Oh,
So he out of it. He
What?
quit. He stopped coming to work. Day 2.
okay.
So it was Mr. J and his partner, that dude, and that dude is like an older cat too. So they had 2 cats. Okay, for a couple of days. Then Mr. J tried to bring another dude who said he was the drywall man. So the drywall man was supposed to show up on that Thursday. Drywall man shows up. He don't even know how to carry drywall.
Let alone
Install it. He don't know how to cut the drywall out of the packs that come in. And Mr. J, I can hear Mr. J testing him. I thought you was a drywall man. You don't know how to take that. Hey, wait, hold on. What did that? You don't know how to carry no drywall? I thought y'all had just drywall man.
Oh, jeez.
And so I'm sitting upstairs listening to this stuff, and I can tell, the dude is all tense. He come in my house, he's not even talking to nobody. I'm like, yo, how we hire this guy, this mean motherfucker in my house? Just, because I had to sit here. You can't just have contractors in your house and you just disappear.
Yeah, you had to, at least come down and oversee and look and.
I would sit at the table and if they worked 8 hours, I would be upstairs pretty much hanging out for 8 hours, waiting on them to get done, and then I would go run my errands that evening. So I would hear through the floors all the shit going on. It'd be hilarious. Yeah. But that dude didn't even last till 2 p.m. That dude basically got fired.
This is what day was this?
Day 4.
Day 4.
So he's out of here and he walks home. You know what I mean?
No drywall man.
No drywall man. Turns out the drywall man was lying. He wasn't really the drywall man. And so he's out, but Mr. J had to pay them fools.
Yeah.
Because he already had committed to them. You know what I'm saying? So that shit was hitting the budget some as well, because cats he was hiring was just working and disappearing, and you know what I'm saying, he was thinking he was gonna get more out of them than he did. And so ultimately it came down to like him and the other dude.
Oh, just them two.
And then what took us additional time was the electric. Okay. So apparently when my mom and dad had some people do some stuff back here 30, 40 years ago,
it was wrong.
Yes, really bad electric work down here. And it was like they couldn't connect anything, because as you see, we got outlets there, here. There's 2 outlets on every wall. Really official stuff, from the lighting up here to up there. It's done properly, but we couldn't connect any of that stuff until we fixed the lighting in the washroom. So we had to disconnect this stuff out here, disconnect all of that, rework all of that, and then they fixed all that. Then we could come back to working on this. And so like that took extra time, but he didn't really charge me nothing for that. He did all that electric work because this is my guy, and it needed to be done. So like, that's why it pays to fuck with somebody who knows you. Right. Because I think he knew at the end I was going to give him something extra anyway. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like, yo, just do it. We'll figure it out at the end. You know what I mean? And he didn't ask me for anything specific for that. Okay. He just did what he thought needed to be done. Okay. Which is like some old school contractor shit.
Yeah, that's what because that's the difference when you deal with any older cat, especially a tradesman.
Yes.
Like they do what needs to be done. And if they know if they're dealing with somebody, especially if it's somebody they know, that they're going to get compensated. They're going to get looked out for, even if it may not be that job. They're going to look for you the next time they need something done. You're going to always get work. It's just a different mindset. You know?
Yeah. And, so that pushed it back. And then not having, because he was supposed to be him and 2 other people the whole time, right? So like the drywalling and stuff, that was actually supposed to be the fastest part. Right. It ended up taking longer, because it was just him and one other person, and then him and another person to do the electric and all that stuff. So he was hoping that he would have been able to do the electric while they were doing the drywalling and stuff like that. And he had to stop doing the stuff in here to do that, to get all that stuff in the other room fixed so we could put the electric in here properly. And so this is what, older house. I think this house was built in 60 or 45 or 50, maybe 1950 or something, 55, something like that. It's an older house, so a lot of bad work was done back in the days. People thought they knew what they was doing, and if it worked, then people thought it was good work. Right. Little did you know, you burn your house down, you plugged the shit in the wrong way. Yeah. And that's kind of what we found out working on this room.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, so now the big question.
Okay.
What was the price tag on
price tag?
What was the price tag?
That's what everybody else want to know.
That's what everybody want to know. Inquiring minds.
Yeah. Well, it probably. It probably. 2,600 was the original thing. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The 2,600 original quote, and I was like, hey, can you with 25, and then when I think we settled on 2,500 because there were some things, and then with the people drive, oh yeah, we can do with that. We should come in under that. So it came in right around that.
Okay.
When you take away what got taken off for people dipping that he didn't have to pay, then what got added on for
the electric and all that,
it was still $2,600. You know what I mean, for the whole room, which is less than what the original two guys I talked to would have charged me for doing more work, but I don't think they would have done the extra stuff that needed to be done that he did.
So the quality wouldn't have been nearly as...
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
The quality is really, and that's really what you want. You don't want somebody throwing up all these beautiful walls and shit, but what's behind the walls is fucked up.
Right.
Because that'll have you'll be sick.
Yeah. Because there's ain't no telling what would have happened if they wouldn't have done the electric right.
Yeah.
And, we got all this equipment in here, plugging up shit.
Fire.
You know what I'm saying? Fire.
Yep.
Blow your fucking circuits. You know what I'm saying? It could have been worse.
Yeah. So it came to about 2,600. I mean, the stuff I did, I probably paid the flooring. We don't have an expensive flooring. It's laminate flooring in here, so that's probably $1 per square foot, probably $150 for that, which is what I put in. The paint, I already had the paint from my other studio.
Okay.
The trim, probably another $50 for the trim on the floor. The sound treatment's probably $150 for these panels max. Okay. So that's probably it. So probably another $300 in the other stuff. So under $3,000 for the whole thing.
Okay, that's not too bad.
That's not too crazy.
Not for a room that you're gonna get hella use out of.
Yeah, I wish I could have got it for fucking $1,500.
I mean,
crackhead prices.
Of course. You know what I'm saying? Of course. But crackhead prices,
it's hard to get at the crackheads, man. They be disappearing.
Yeah. Probably could have fucked you up too, though.
Yeah, the first quote was lightweight crackhead prices. They just gonna do the whole basement for $2,500, for $2,200.
Yeah.
I was like, word?
For real?
Let's go.
Yeah. All right.
But it didn't work out like that.
That would have been a hotel.
Yeah, just waiting.
Hotel and waiting.
Yeah, I created my own hotels by hiring the wrong people, man.
Hell yeah.
So I'm glad I hired my guy, and he did good work. He showed up every day. He very communicative, and that's the thing I notice about older contractors versus newer contractors, younger guys. The old school guys, man, they have more care and more pride in their work.
Yeah.
And some of the younger guys, they can show up, not show up. They don't give a shit.
It's integrity, and it's also reputation. If it's something they've been doing for a long time, they know they have a like, even if you don't know other people that they've done work for, they feel like they have a reputation to uphold.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And if I don't do this right, I may not get invited back to do more work. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He may not recommend me to somebody else. So it's just different these days.
Yeah. And people are fucking crazy out here, man. So, you can hire anybody, but do you want anybody in your house?
Right. That is so true.
Because I have valuable things in here, but can I have just anybody working in here?
Yeah, especially if they was down here.
Yeah, exactly. That's the issue.
Yeah.
Like, this is the area of my house I just don't want anybody in.
Yeah, because this is where things are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like the necessary things. The necessity things.
Yeah, for doing my job. Yeah. So the guy I hired, he was doing stuff for my mom when she lived here 20 years ago.
Oh, word.
So like,
yeah, that's a no-brainer. Then.
Yeah, it's like let's hire him, even though it may cost a little more, take a little longer. I'm satisfied with it, and I think that, like you're saying, it's an investment in what we do.
Right.
And I'm happy with it.
All right, cool. Well,
take a break. Okay, so we'll take a break, and we're gonna come back and give people just like some tips.
Yeah.
On remodeling, so y'all can do this shit right and not get scroked.
Hell yeah!
All right, be right back.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? The deal we're running today on Weightless.net is a 2-Headed Monster CD plus 2-Headed Monster t-shirt for just $20 total. That's the t-shirt and the CD for $20 total. The t-shirt we have in every size. That's small, medium, large, extra large, and 2XL. Every single size, men's sizes, we ship internationally. So you can get the CD and the t-shirt, or I should say CD and the t-shirt for just $20 on Weightless.net. Go there right now and support the movement. Thank you. Peace.
Boom.
We do this shit in our sleep, man.
Hey, man. It's just natural.
Damn.
It just comes. It's
just like turning on a faucet.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I need some.
Yeah.
Turn this shit on.
Yeah, that's
classic episodes.
I mean,
who are those guys?
Word.
Okay, so yeah, we're back. Super duty tough work. We're talking about remodeling 101 for everybody who's been curious about it at any point. Obviously we did the real estate episode.
Nice.
And this is that was a macro one.
Right.
This is a little more micro, you know, one specific room and talking about the process and the cost. And you know, it's dope. So we're gonna talk about the lessons.
Yeah.
You know, and these are tips that I have for anybody out there who's thinking about doing any type of remodeling job, whether or having it done. If you can't do the work yourself. So tip number 1, have a plan before you talk to a contractor.
Yes.
That means that whatever you want done, you need to be able to articulate it in specifics, because a contractor's job is not to get in there and freestyle. They're not creative people.
Right.
They're people who execute based on specific plans and needs that you should hopefully be able to tell them.
Yeah, you should be able to provide those.
Yeah. And, you know, don't just say, I want to do something different with this room. I just want to do something different. I just want to change this. Let's finish this room. Like, what specifically do you want finished?
Yeah, and you need and having a plan also, you need to understand what the purpose of the room is going to be.
Yes.
In that plan.
It starts there.
Yeah, like what is the purpose of the new space that I'm going to build? And then I need a plan of how to execute.
Exactly. Because lighting in here is much more important than in the studio.
Yeah, you don't even really need, it don't matter. You
Less lighting is better in there, right?
Yeah, you just have a lamp.
Yeah, because when we write, we don't need a bunch of bright ass shit. We want it dark and moody.
Right.
Here it's got to be bright and almost obnoxious.
True.
You know?
True, make it look good.
Yeah. And so I had my requirements as far as outlets I needed. I knew which walls I needed to be finished, to be framed. I need that one framed. I need that one framed. I want my door here. This wall's gonna go there. I need a light there, a light there, a light there. That's the specificity that I had when talking to contractors. You don't have to be that specific, but you need to have a good idea of what you want, because that's going to help you get a better estimate.
Right.
And they let you know like which options can go, which can stay, you know, and if you don't have a plan, they're going to make something for you that you might not be happy with.
Yeah. Or that you might not need. That'll blow the cost up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I want that. But you don't know what the cost is of that thing that you're asking. You don't know about the cheap version of that. You don't know how to get the same effect without using the same money.
Right.
That's something that I learned from doing houses, is that, yeah, you can do the flyest bathrooms,
right?
But you put a tenant in there who don't give a fuck about that.
Exactly. Do the sink work?
Yeah.
Can I take a shower?
They don't need a $500 sink.
Right.
Get them a regular basic faucet, man. They ain't gonna do nothing but break it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, things you have to learn when you're doing space. But number 1, have a plan before.
Yeah.
Tip number 2, get multiple estimates.
Yes.
More than 1, more than 2. I mean, I had a baseline for what I knew I had a range for what I thought this was going to cost.
Right.
And it came in around there a little bit more, because I also weighed like, hey, do I feel like doing this? Because I could have probably done the framing. And there was a point where I was going to do the framing myself, have someone else do the electric, and then I would do the drywall. But I started thinking like, if I do this, what else am I doing my day? I don't want to be out here doing that.
Right. Do I really want to spend the time?
But do I want to go digging?
Right.
Make some beats. And digging and making beats and writing a book, one. And so it was like, hey, I'm going to hire somebody to do this because I don't want to do it right now. But you have to get multiple estimates so that you can know the range that you're dealing with. The biggest mistake I had when I did my first remodel of my first property I bought was I only dealt with one contractor. And boy, did he try to put it to stroke. The stroke was mean. I was like, where is this coming from?
Be stroking.
How am I broke like this? The money just flies out of my hands and into his pockets before I even get it.
Wow.
Talk about counting pockets. He had all my money mapped out, and he knew exactly how I was spending every dime I was going to get. And I could do a whole episode about that, man. But yeah, get multiple estimates, even if that's your people. And so like, I got the estimate from some guys I never dealt with, but I knew that Mr. J is my guy.
Right.
And I have someone who I could, as long as he's available, I could trust to do the job. And it just keeps people honest. You know who's bullshitting you, who's blowing smoke up your ass.
Right.
And sometimes people give you a high estimate because they don't even want to do the work.
True.
So, pay attention to that.
Yeah.
And get multiple estimates. Okay, tip number 3 is if it feels off, don't do it.
Yeah, don't just jump into something.
Like if you get a vibe about that dude, it's like, yo, I'm getting a crackhead vibe from you, man. Don't do it.
Yeah,
They probably crackhead.
probably.
Trust me, I done had some crackheads do work on my house, and I had to get people who wasn't crackheads to fix it.
Lesson learned.
Hey man, can you come fix this? Damn, who did this shit? Like my AC was so bad, a motherfucker told me that he never seen nothing like it in his life in 30 years of doing AC work.
I remember that.
That's this shit crazy.
Yeah.
He was pointing shit out to me. I was like, damn, that is crazy. That's not how it works. I can see that clear as day. It was like, yo, whatever you do, please don't hire him again.
No crackheads.
Yeah, that guy was very crackish. And so if it feels off, don't do it. It is your house. It's better to wait and get somebody you trust,
Right.
who is accountable and gives you the guarantees you need, whether it's, hey, these are the days we're going to work. It's guaranteed. Here's, a payment schedule plan that you feel comfortable with. Get the terms that you feel comfortable with, whether that's how they work, when they work, and who they are before you move forward.
Yeah.
And if you get a bad vibe in any of those areas, just chill.
Yeah.
The money will still be there. It ain't gonna burn a hole in your pocket.
Right.
You can find someone who will do the work, who's trustworthy, has a good reputation, and cares.
Most definitely.
So that's number 3. Number 4, don't pay anybody without a contract. I lost $200.
Right.
I could have lost a lot more.
Right.
I mean, there's only so much I was gonna do, but $200, I was like, okay, that'll get, what I'm saying?
Yeah, because if they quoted you, 2 G's.
Yeah.
And 200
10%.
Yeah, that's 10%. But what if like I need 20% down or
some people ask
30%, 50%? Yeah. Like, I mean, you could have been out of $1,000.
Right. I've seen contractors do that and they don't even have any intentions on doing the job.
Right.
They'll have people pay a 50% deposit. They won't even shout with a contract. They'll come in, they'll probably demo your shit, and then they'll just disappear.
Yeah.
And then it's too expensive for most people to get fixed without you. You're like, damn, it's already taken apart, so I can't just hire somebody new,
right? Because
then I got to pay twice. So let me just get this guy to come back. And these people, sometimes they don't have no intentions on coming back, man.
Yeah, straight up.
So get their address. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you got a way to get in contact with them, because if you give them that money with no contract, no guarantee, and you don't know them, like I know where my guy Mr. J live. He live, a block, 2 blocks from here. I can walk to his house.
Right.
You knock on his door. Hey man, you come finish this shit away. He know that and I know that.
Right.
I don't want to do that, but I will.
Right.
Over my bread, I'll do that. And but the first guy, I don't know where that motherfucker is at, where he live. You know what I mean? So, and it's no coincidence, he don't want to disappear. Right. Yeah. So I would say don't do anything without a contract. And if they're not willing to give you a contract, especially if it's some significant work, anything over a couple $100, then don't do it.
Hell no, don't do it.
That's a red flag.
Yes.
And a lot of them, they'll say, oh, no, I don't need a contract. No, they should have everything. They should be giving you everything, because that's how you build trust.
Yeah, and they should want a contract to make sure they not getting stroked.
You would think.
Yeah, you would think.
But the reason they don't is because
they gonna stroke you. They doing the stroking in this situation.
Yes, that's exactly what it is, my man. That's number 4 tip. Tip number 5. Okay, so we're talking about tip number 5 is to use your network. That means that from all the people around you, like I would bet if you search your Facebook friends list right now, there are people who do good work on it.
Or that know people.
So like I see people post stuff all the time that I've never worked with. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't even know he did this kind of work. And they're posting their before and after pictures. And
right.
I'm like, damn, you actually do good work. And I think most of us have people like that in our network that we may not have even noticed.
Yeah.
And like you're saying, even if they can't do it, they can recommend someone who can, or they can help you deal with the estimates that you are. They can help you vet contractors.
Right.
So, and it can be shiesty, but most things that happen to people is because they don't do the diligence.
Oh yeah.
So
definitely.
Have someone in your corner that can help you. See, I knew I could trust Mr. J, because when my first contractor was stroking me on my first flip, he saved me.
Yeah. He probably came in like, you don't want to do that, young blood.
He did. It was just like that. He came in like, who put this here? Who installed this, Al? I was like, oh, this is my guy Chris did that. He's like, I don't know if you know, but the code says it just got to be this many inches here, and this got to be that there. This is really bad. No, okay. I was like, oh, thanks, Mr. J. He said, you might want to talk to him about doing this the right way, because, if you have to get this thing inspected before you finance, they're going to flag this. And I was like, oh.
Wow.
Okay. Thank you.
Right.
It took me another month or two before I hired him. Because first I had to write down all the shit that was wrong. So every time Mr. J come through, we would talk about something like, yeah, and man, who put that there? I was like, yeah.
I almost don't want to call him.
Chris did it.
Yeah.
Because he was doing my landscaping and he would come inside and just hang out when I fade him or something. He was just like,
see, you got some work done.
Yeah. He was giving me that look. I was just sick, like, oh, this is bad.
Oh, man.
And eventually I started seeing like, okay, my guy don't know it. And so I started asking my guy, Chris, like, hey, man, what's up with this? What's up with that? Oh, yeah, don't worry. I'll just do it again. It's no problem. Oh, that'll do. No one cares. You know what I mean? And then it was like we had something where just a straw that broke the camel's back. And I was getting tired and I started getting books myself. So I went and bought a bunch of books. And I started looking up everything Mr. J was telling me that Chris was doing wrong. And I was like, yep.
Yep.
He's not lying.
My man's not lying to me. He know what he told me.
He know what he talking about.
Yeah.
And the younger cat, Chris, he was probably mid 30s, early 30s. And Mr. J probably was about 60 back then. And he was just knew the shit off the top of his head from doing it so long. And it ain't no bad work when they see it.
Oh yeah, of course.
People know.
Yeah, like my dad's an electrician, been an electrician for probably all my life. And I always have him come whenever I moved or anything. Yeah. I would always have him come and inspect the electric.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just to make sure I wasn't coming someplace where I could, burn my house down. Yeah. If I turn the light switch on.
Yeah. Plug the wrong thing in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it pays to have somebody like that in your family.
Right.
And so for people who don't, you got somebody like that in your network. Like I got uncles who do stuff as well. It's like, man, now that I've messed with it enough, I know how valuable it is. You don't have to have all the answers. You just have to have the right people around you who can ask the right questions.
Right.
And then you'll be good.
Yeah.
So that's it.
That's it.
So I hope some of y'all got something out of this, man. This is not a hip hop episode this week, but it's we're hip hoppers.
Right.
And I hope this is real grown man shit. And I hope that y'all learned something out of this. And, those of you at home, you'll, if you get to watch this on the YouTube channel, you'll see some additional video stuff that we're going to add to it. And I hope that this kind of explains everything that we did. And good luck on your next remodeling job.
Word up.
See y'all next week.
Peace.
Peace.
Thank you for listening to Super Duty Tough Work. Subscribe to the podcast on iTunes. Follow the podcast on SoundCloud. Peace.
Shoot, I got styles already that's more complex that nobody know about. I mean, super duty tough work.